Valentine's Day, All-Star Weekend. Um, I mean, I've been having conversations, people asking how's the weekend going, how's Valentine's Day, all that good stuff. If I had to describe this past weekend in one word, I would say it was sensational. It was sensational. I've gotten a lot of gains in different areas of my life. I feel like, well, first and foremost, before we really dive deeper into this, I just want to, welcome everybody, whether it's your first time on the channel, if you're back again, good to see you again. I think that this has been the best time, to compound and accumulate just knowledge and wealth in so many different areas and different ways. Probably in the last decade, at least for myself personally. And, there's certain things that I used to think I wanted in life, and whether it was relationships or whether it was just accolades, achievements. And now that I'm where I'm at, I just feel like grateful that it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to, because I was willing to sacrifice myself, in GTA. I was willing to do that for those things, and I didn't even know it or realize it. Um, so with that being said, you know, there's just a lot of, progress, and there's a lot of, positive movement happening. And this summer is going to be probably the best summer since summer 16, 2016. I don't know. I feel like it's like that, just that spiral that we've been talking about, that vortex. And I feel like things are just kind of back in alignment with how things were moving at that time. And a lot of people, I'm sure you guys get it and realize it. Like, if you get it, you get it. Like, Summer 16 was one of those ones. And I'm just, this message isn't here to down anybody. None of my messages were to down anybody to begin with. I appreciate the people that reached out to me, that have seen some of the recent videos involving family and all this other stuff. I appreciate you guys DMing me and reaching out to me, texting me, just the support. And, I appreciate the people who, I have, around in my life in some type of way, where I don't have to be a part of their everyday, day to day, and vice versa. But I can still always, I guess reconnect with them in some type of way. And it's no weird energy, it's no weird vibes, people, there are thorough and genuine people, so I appreciate that for sure. And it's not to say that it's, you know, uncommon, but I guess in today's day and age, it kind of is. Usually people want handouts, or people want things, given to them in return, or they expect certain things. And, it's not that that's not, you should have just the right, relationships in your life, is pretty much all I'm trying to say. And whatever that means for you. And with that being said, there's still going to be some people that have their judgments and things like that. You got to forgive me. I know I'm looking around a lot. Just trying to make sure things are, secure. And, but yeah, man, there's a big change happening. I don't want to give away too much, but definitely in this year. I've already said summer 2026. So, people always say summer 16. Summer 26 is going to be one of those ones too. I already know it. I'm claiming that for myself and for the community here. that, you know, the summer is going to be the best summer that you've had in a while. You're going to laugh more than you've had laughter in your previous summers. You're going to make memories with people that you're cool with, that you're close to. For some of you, people that you care about. Next steps in life and whatever chapter you're in, you know. So yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I know that this summer is gonna be just amazing, and this year, even after the summer, like this year, like it doesn't stop at the summer. You know, the summer is not the finish line. It's just gonna be another milestone. It's gonna be another confirmation that this message is for you, and that this message is in alignment with your life and all the hard work, all the inner work you've been doing, you know, your Bible habits that you've been building, and not building them because your pastor or your minister or your parents or your aunt, you know, or even because you're hearing me say it, like building it for yourself as an individual, you know, what resonates for you, how does your spirit receive what you're reading, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, you know, and why does certain things make sense, you know, dive deep into that, you know, why doesn't certain things that you read, why don't those make sense, you know, why aren't those as clear, you know, and it's not that it's a right or wrong, it's just, it's your journey and your spirituality, you know, and it's about, you know, how you and your spirit and in your mind and your body and then your heart is how, you know, how you are developing as an individual, you know, how you're evolving. And nobody can do that for you but yourself, you know, nobody can do that work for you. And that's probably another thing I would just want to share, you know, especially for just everybody. It doesn't even have to be athletes, but, you know, as an athlete, as somebody who has put my identity in that at one point in time, like, you know, it's easy to say, you know, you got to put the work in, and it's the same as your spiritual journey, you know. And yeah, I mean, it's about, you know, growing, and life is just, life is going to do what life does, you know, and it's just how prepared are you, but also like how can you respond, you know. If you feel like you've been down and out, if you feel like you've been counted out, like how do you respond to that, you know? I don't want to say in the right way, but what feels right to you, and, you know, you're not doing anything out of an emotional reaction, like you're calculated, you're methodical, you're diligent, you're going to persevere, you're confident, you know, intuitive. And I mean, I feel like that aligns with me, and, you know, none of this is written down, so I feel like it aligns with you as well, especially if this video, it came across you, and especially if you're still here, you know. So I appreciate you for that, you know. And I just wanted to, I don't know, I wasn't even planning on recording today. Someone told me to record, and I feel like, you know, things are just finally clicking the way that I've envisioned them to click in a long time. I feel like there's a lot of dead weight that I like was trying to bring along with me, or that I wanted to be with me, and like that dead weight's like just no longer there. Like even the want for the weight isn't there, you know. And I mean, that's just confirmation of like growth, and it's just it's been a journey. It's been an individual one for sure. Like, and it's not to say that I'm like physically always, you know, by myself or anything like that, but from a spiritual standpoint specifically, and even just like beyond, like it's definitely an individual journey. And I've done a lot of work and being in environments and atmospheres that I've, you know, outgrown, people I've outgrown, and you know, being around people who aren't good for me in certain ways, my nervous system in certain ways. And, you know, I still see some of these people even to this day, but I definitely don't respond the way that I did before. And when I say respond, like I don't allow them that type of influence, because nobody deserves to have that type of influence over you, you know. You can't control what people do. You can't control what people say. You can't control what people believe. So, I mean, as long as you're just doing the right things, and putting the work in, you know the truth. The God within you knows the truth. Our Heavenly Father knows the truth. So people can try and smear your name, smear campaigns and throw your name in the mud, and people can take sides and choose sides. You don't have to get validation from any of that. It's never that serious. You know, Now, granted, like boundaries, go ahead and put boundaries up. I've done that myself. I'm not gonna sit here and say I haven't, but I'm not seeking the validation. I'm not trying to explain myself. I'm not trying to convince, persuade. You know, People want to do what they want to do. People want to say what they want to say. People want to believe what they want to believe at the end of the day. And, there's no amount of words or actions that are going to change deep down how someone feels about you. Someone feels like a certain way about you, they're going to feel a certain way about you. And that doesn't matter if you're trying to do all the right things. That doesn't matter if you're doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing. It doesn't matter if you're doing a mix of both, and it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum you're on. And I've seen it firsthand. I've experienced it firsthand with multiple different people. If they have a certain viewpoint of me, that is the viewpoint that they are going to have, regardless of what I am, what I do. And, at the end of the day, it's my life. And at the end of the day, you on the other side of this screen, it's your life, So don't allow people to try to make you change who you are, your true, authentic self. That's not going to resonate for everybody. Not everybody's going to be comfortable with that. And not everybody's going to like that. They're not going to like the authentic you. The authentic version of you is probably complex. It's probably a mixture of identities that you've had in the past, and people aren't necessarily maybe ready for that, or even willing to accept the fact that that's how you grow and evolve. You take things from the past and your present, you use what works for you as an individual, and only you know this, and you keep it moving. You keep it moving. You keep living life. You keep making experiences and memories and relationships. This, it's not going to stop. The world was going before we got here. It's going now, and it's going to go, when we depart. And it's just that simple. It's just the way things are, and we're only here for X amount of time. So let's not spend our time worrying about what other people think, how other people view us. There's nothing to gain from that, and there's no point in giving them that type of false power, that fool's gold of power. And if you're somebody who was a people pleaser in the past, which I definitely was, I'll raise my hand, I was one of those people, even if it was a detriment to myself. And that goes for athletics, that goes for family, that goes for relationships, that goes for platonically or romantically, academically, school, my faith journey, and just dealing with religion and how I was brought up and all these different things. Even if it was a detriment to myself, I was always trying to please others. And you gotta put yourself first. It's that thing is so that just as an example, it's so true. The airlines on the planes and the flight attendants, they're doing their routine, and they talk about put your face mask on before you try to help someone else. Um, that whole scenario is like, that's life. You got to be able to help yourself before you can help others. And so if you're not able to help yourself, which I haven't always been able to help myself, and I admit that, like, I'm not shying away from that. So that's why I feel so comfortable in my own skin, because like there's nothing that nobody can say or do to expose me where I haven't already addressed it. And that's, I mean, as simple as that. I haven't already addressed it, or that it's something that if they said, I would just be so ashamed and like, man, I can't believe that this is out. Like, nah, but I know there's a lot of people who, and they don't have to tell me that they view my videos, I already know that they do, that are hoping I don't say certain things that they have done, that they do. And that's not my place, that's not a part of my journey to expose people, and because that's very easy to do. And I just speak facts. I speak the real. I speak truth. You know, I don't claim that I'm better than anybody else. I don't claim that I'm worse either. I don't believe in that. Um, I don't try to act like, ever since that I've taken my spiritual journey serious, like really locking in on it, I don't claim that I haven't had setbacks in multiple areas of my life, in different relationships in my life. Um, I have moments and temptations just like anybody else, and that refers to even like, second guessing my spiritual journey and like wanting to, revert back to like old, like my old life, so to speak, like just how I moved, like exactly as I did. And that's why I say like it's about evolving, because you can still take bits and pieces from what worked for you in the past. Like I was trying to just solely, completely brand new. I'm only going to do X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. That no longer is going to work. But what if A and C actually really was beneficial and working though? So it's like you just gotta know yourself, man. You gotta know yourself. Like the song, know yourself, know your worth. Like know what you got going on, man. Know where you're headed. Know that the God within you can withstand anything. That's a whole nother discussion, because I know there's a lot of talk, Heavenly Father, the God within. Um, there's a lot to unpack there, and I don't think everybody's really ready to have that type of conversation, or to hear that rather. And yeah, so I mean, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and leave it there, guys. Um, I don't want to say too much more other than that. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and stay safe. I hope everybody, enjoyed their weekend and was with loved ones and, your significant others on this past weekend for Valentine's Day, or just with your friends if you weren't doing that this year. And, and I'll see you guys on the next one. And as always, till next time, man, in due time. Peace.